Outlaw Sports is brought to you by Molson Canadian, made from Canada.
Hey Grant, as I watch NFL Sunday, and I'm a dedicated NFL
What do you watch,
fan.
like an hour or so?
Like pregame. Then I get into it.
Do you literally watch from like 11 in the morning till about 11 at night?
Usually, my son's worse. I mean,
No, don't deflect it. How much do you watch?
Well, I'll watch the first game. Usually I watch.
No, you watch pregame stuff too.
I do.
Okay,
because I love.
You're on the witness stand here.
Howie Long and Terry Bradshaw love what they do. I love that show. Watch it all the time.
Are you dressed? Like, are you still in your pajamas?
No, I'm just still in my G-string from working the Chippendale Senior Circuit the night before.
Okay. That's a lot of football.
Ooh, still hanging on the pole, Grant.
Not married.
So anyhow, I'm watching this, and I'm looking at some of the calls, and I will say this: when I watch the Green Bay Packers, I've never seemed to see a team that is so protected by officiating. But the replacement guys are gone, and they still are making brutal calls on the field.
Wait a sec now. Wait a sec. Brutal. It's getting worse.
It's getting bad.
Typical fan. What do you mean?
It's bad.
How many bad calls were there in the 60s? Oh, you weren't watching because all the games weren't on TV. Now you watch 13 games a day, don't you? You can see it on replays. There's 37 cameras there. Of course you
High def.
So of course you're going to say, oh, bad calls. Here's one thing I noticed on the weekend was that the Indianapolis Colts were playing. Andrew Luck falls down on his knees, gets a pass away. Clearly his knees were down. The replay showed it. It was down.
Did anyone touch him?
Don't interrupt.
Don't let common sense interfere with your argument. He's not down unless someone touches him.
So that was the question.
Yeah.
Okay, because he threw an interception and they counted it, and everybody was saying that should have been ruled down.
Yeah.
So you're saying, is that what they said, or
no,
is that what you're saying?
That's the rule. Yeah, I never
They didn't
saw the
say
play.
that though. Yeah. I don't think that nobody touched them. I didn't hear that anyways.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help but think, if that was a replacement referee back in early September, late September, early October, we'd be all over the replacement guys. So I just think they still make mistakes, Mike. They'll always make mistakes. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that we have more opportunities sitting at home criticizing the referees. I'm sure they're making huge number of mistakes back in the 60s and the 70s when Mike Lonsborough couldn't watch 13 games a day and have replay after replay.
I'd only watched the Vikings back then.
I think we should get rid of replay and just let the guy in the field make mistakes without jurisdiction.
Ain't going to happen. The quarterback class of 2012, when they talk about great quarterbacks, they go to two years. 1983, Elway Marino. 2004, Roethlisberger, Manning, and Rivers. This year, Grant, I don't know if I've ever seen more exciting young men than RG3, who even when he gets hurt, seems to be a bit of a Superman. Sprains his knee. That hit would have probably crippled or ended a career for most guys. And then you have Andrew Luck and what he's done replacing a legend in Indianapolis. And then Russell Wilson, who is a little bit undersized, but boy, do I like this guy. Not only his playing ability, but his attitude, his work ethic, how he wants to get better, well-spoken guy. You don't see a lot of, and so I'm looking at this saying, wow, this is as good as it gets. And with these guys, you don't see a lot of this. Yak, I'm going to do this, blah, 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 blah. These guys seem pretty grounded, and they seem pretty sensible, and they are playing unbelievable football for first-year guys.
Robert Griffin impresses me, even in his interviews too. After when he got hurt, and he was hit, and his leg went the wrong way. I mean, knees don't go that way, and he sprained a ligament, or two. He said, "Yeah, when that happened, it hurt. I cried like a man." I thought that was entertaining.
I had man tears.
But don't you think, though, for him to go on, and yes, he's having an exceptional year, and he's fun to watch, fun to listen to, quality guy, but a running quarterback, his days are numbered. Does he not have to sort of curtail that running, or he's going to get hurt more often and his career is going to be limited?
He'll learn.
You think he will?
Yeah, I think he will.
And he still has the skills.
Sure is exciting to watch.
I tend to agree with this class of quarterback is fun to watch, and it's great for the league.
And as you said, you listen to their interviews, they're well-spoken, they're confident,
Without being cocky.
That's right,
Yeah,
because
they're
I am
quality people.
sick and tired of seeing defensive backs get beat by a receiver for 200 yards, and near the end of the game when they're losing by 30, he knocks the ball down and he's in someone's face. Are you friggin' kidding me? Or a team's down by 40 and the guy's wide open, catches slams it down and does a dance. Give me a break. These guys are cool guys. They're respected for what they do on and off the field. I mean, they are leaders. They're born leaders, Grant, and they're coming from colleges, and it seems to be a different game now. You know, if you're smart and you draft a guy, wouldn't you want to incorporate a system that he's already used to running instead of making him wait 2 or 3 years? I mean, you're investing millions and millions of dollars. Don't you want to give him the edge? Don't you want him to be game ready? And I think that's what these guys have done. And
you mentioned those guys starting this year. Don't forget, right behind them, Sam Bradford, Cam Newton are pretty good quarterbacks too. A little bit older, but Sam Bradford's coming in his own with the Rams.
Yep.